I'm not sure if many people are aware of this, but like the federal government in Canada is saying like how like mandatory jabs like will be coming soon. So um yeah, and and one of the ministers, one of the federal ministers, I think it was the health minister, was saying how forced jobs was like the only way to get through all this pandemic or whatever they like to call it. So I'm gonna pull up an article right now which talks about it. That'll help explain it better. So okay, so this is from Rebel News. It says compulsory jobs for everyone likely coming soon to Canada, says federal health minister. Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos stated that while rapid tests, masking, and social distancing are important tools, they won't end this crisis on their own, and as such, forced jobs will be the only way. And I think this is a picture of him, Jean-Yves Duclos. And then it says mandatory jobs for all citizens is likely coming to Canada in the months ahead, says Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos. His statements come after governments such as those in Austria and Greece have introduced their own job mandates that apply to the entire country. Speaking at a press conference Friday, Duclos said that while mandatory jobs falls under the jurisdiction of the provinces, he personally believes that compulsory jobs will be happening soon. When asked about the possibility of mandatory jobs for all Canadians, Duclos said in French, "I personally think we will get there at some point." According to an English translation on CBC, Duclos added, "I see it coming personally. Not now. I don't think we're there yet, but I think decisions need to be had about mandatory jobs because we have to get rid of COVID-19." So apparently, like, he said this in French. So yeah, so I guess like, yeah, probably because he doesn't want to scare like a lot of people, because in Canada, like, French is also the other national language alongside English, because but it's only like it's mostly English, but like, yeah, in Canada it's mostly English that's spoken unless you live in Quebec. So yeah, probably like he was saying all this in French because he knows that most Canadians don't understand French. So yeah, probably, yeah, if he said this stuff in English, and probably like he would have gotten more attention. So, and also, like, I know Trudeau recently said like how, like, he also think he was like, yeah, like in French as well. Trudeau was saying how people who are like not jabbed apparently are racist and misogynist and something along those lines. So yeah, like, yeah, it seems like it's easier for them to talk about this stuff in French, as I guess they think that, like, I guess not every like as I guess they think that not every Canadian understands French. So I guess probably it's easier for them to say this stuff in French than it is in English. So then it says Duclos said that while discussions about mandatory job policies are not taking place right now, he believes that based on his personal understanding of what we see internationally and domestically, and in his conversations with health ministers over over the last few weeks, the discussion to impose blanket job mandates will start in the coming weeks or months. Duclos stated that while rapid tests, masking, and social distancing are important tools, they won't end this crisis on their own, and as such, forced jobs will be the only way. And I think here's a video. Here's a video of him saying that. So it says Canadian Health Minister Jean-Yves Duclos said Friday he believes a mandatory jab policy for all citizens is necessary and will likely be coming to Canada in the months ahead. So yeah, it's a video. I'm going to play the video. See what he's saying.
But what we see now is that our healthcare system in Canada is fragile. Our people are tired. And the only way that we know to go through COVID-19, this variant and any future variant, is through vaccination. PPE, physical distancing, tests, rapid tests, PCR tests, these are all very important tools. But what will make us move through this crisis and end it is vaccination. And I see in my own province, 50% of hospitalizations now in Quebec are due to people not having been vaccinated. That's a burden on healthcare workers, a burden on society, which is very difficult to bear, and for many people, difficult to understand.
Okay, so that was him, that was him basically saying how I guess mandatory jabs is the only way to, get through all this. So, yeah, I'm surprised he said that in English because, yeah, I know, like, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he said that in English because I'm sure it would be getting more. I'm sure it's gonna get lots of attention if he says that in English. So, like, yeah, I know in the article I mentioned earlier how he probably told another media outlet or something how in French about how forced jobs are the only way to get through this. So yeah, so I guess he repeated the same thing again but in English. So then it says what we see now is that our healthcare system in Canada is fragile. Our people are tired, and the only way that we know to get through COVID-19, this variant and any future variant, is through jobs. Duclos said 50% of hospitalizations now in Quebec are due to people not having been jabbed, he stated. That's a burden on healthcare workers, a burden on society, which is very difficult to bear and for many people difficult to understand. That's why I'm signaling this as a conversation which I believe provinces and territories in support with the federal government will want to have over the next weeks and months. And I think that's the end of the article. So yeah, he says 50% of hospitalizations in Quebec are people who are unjabbed, which I don't know. I highly doubt that as most of the as I think it's even being mentioned now through I think even the MSM how most of the people who are in hospitals or hospitalized are actually those who have taken one or two doses of the jab. So I don't think I highly doubt it's 50% of the people hospitalized in Quebec are unjabbed. I think it's probably less than that if there's any people if there's any unjabbed people hospitalized at all. So yeah, I think that's just another I guess way to just another tactic I guess from the government to scare people. So So yeah, and reminds me a little bit of how like Trudeau was saying how yeah like I think Trudeau was also saying how people yeah like he also gave a press conference I believe like how where he was saying um how the hospitals are overwhelmed because of the unjabbed and like yeah he basically went on to just blame the unjabbed for all like the for the healthcare system being overwhelmed and all that which that's not true yeah like the healthcare system in Canada has been like the healthcare system in Canada has been struggling for a while like even before like COVID and all that and yeah, and it's mostly it has to do with like the fact that the healthcare system in Canada is socialized, so meaning it's all government funded, so we don't have like any privatized options like in the U.S. or even Europe. So yeah, like the healthcare system in Canada is like social is all like socialized, so it's not yeah, so like so it's not so the reason why the hospitals are overwhelmed, it's not because like because people refuse to get a job, but it's because the healthcare system in Canada is like completely like government funded and all that. So, and like when it comes to surgeries and all that, when it comes to getting surgeries in Canada, like you're having to wait 6 months to a year just to get surgery. So, like, yeah, so I don't think, yeah, so this whole like, blaming the unjabbed on the health, on like, I guess on the healthcare system being overwhelmed is like false yeah, and I think it's just a way for the government to just demonize the unjabbed people and to distract from their own failures and all that. So yeah, and like I know yeah, and in Quebec apparently they're yeah in Quebec like they're becoming yeah like they're becoming I guess more militant and in terms of like reacting to this new variant as like I don't as I think like you can't purchase like cannabis, weed or alcohol I believe like unless you've been jabbed or you show proof of the jab passport and all that. So yeah, like I know Quebec like they're becoming like their response is like really aggressive and like when it comes to this like new variant. Uh, so yeah, and yeah, like this whole like forced job, like yeah, this is something that should concern like everyone, and especially like because because when it comes to the because it's supposed to be like because at first we were told that when it comes to these like jobs it would be voluntary or optional, but now it seems like as time is going on, like they're now saying how it's all forced, like how it's mandatory now, and that you'll be limited from doing things that you like to do unless you get jobs. So yeah, and I know like people like Chris Sky, they've been like warning about this stuff for like the last 1.5 to 2 years now. So yeah, now like the health minister the federal health minister is now like pretty much confirming all these like so-called conspiracy theories and all that where like people would deny that the government would make for would like force people to get the jab and all that, but but now like it's all becoming true. So as now the health minister is saying how you know like like how like forced jabs is the only way to like get through this and all that. So yeah, now so yeah, like I know at the beginning of all this like pandemic, people were like denying that government would make it like mandatory and all that, but apparently like now it's true. So yeah, so if you think it's about your health and safety, like like I suggest you think about give that a second thought and and yeah, like this is like this is like something that's not gonna end anytime soon, and like as long as Canadians are putting up with this stuff, then they're just gonna keep like forcing this on people. So, and they're already trying to do that with the booster shots. So so unless like there's a huge like I guess like unless there's a huge pushback against all this, then this is just gonna keep on happening. So like you can close that now. So unless people start pushing back against all this, then the government, they're just gonna keep on like forcing this on people. So and and I know Quebec in particular, they seem to like have a very like aggressive response to this new variant. So uh, and and it should like really concern peoples because like like if you like especially for those who think it's about like your health and safety, then like you should really like think about that, and you should really give that a second thought, and that if and also like and in Ontario, like I know recently the provincial government, they shut like they banned, like they shut down like the gyms and like indoor dining and all that. So this, even though like the only people who are allowed to do either of those two things are the jab people. So as I know, the unjabbed have been like banned from going to the gym or dining at any at rest indoor. Like I know the unjabbed, they've been banned from gyms and dining indoors at restaurants since like September of last year. So like this is so if you think like this is about your health and safety, then you really have to like like really like consider that, and like you know um and this compulsory like and like what the health minister said, like it should really concern everyone, as we might like as can't as it might as Canada, as there are some countries like Australia where they've pretty much gone out of control in terms of fighting this pandemic. And so like I get the feeling that Canada will end up like in the same like path as Australia if people don't start pushing back against these unlawful mandates. And like it's like this stuff isn't gonna end unless people start pushing back against it, against all this. So as the government, they're just gonna keep on pushing this on, as they're just gonna keep pushing this stuff on people. So and I know like um and I know Canadians, they're very like, unfortunately, they're very like compliant people. So and a lot of them have and a lot of them believe that those in positions of authority, whether it's like government or like any other like any position of authority, like they think that they're looking out for their best interests when in reality they're not. So um and like like it's just like unless people start like, unless Canadians start pushing back against all this, then I don't see an end to this. So like I just hope people start like waking up to all this and start questioning all this stuff. So as what the health minister said, like it should concern everyone. So as it pretty much sounds like they're going after everyone. So I guess even people who like even people who don't even people I guess who have like health problems and all that. Like it sounds like they're going after them too. So yeah, like I really hope people start pushing back against all this and start questioning all this stuff. So as as this stuff isn't gonna end anytime soon unless people start pushing back against this. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to say, and I'll be signing off now.